HR directors need not to be scared. They're happy to invest in the organisation and into their own teams, but I think they need to be braver and actually invest in themselves, because the better they are, the more it's going to impact across the whole organisation. So I've found HR in the boardroom so interesting experience, because I just work with CEOs. But what I've found is that in that forum, we're getting 12 HR directors sharing their HR approach. We're all looking at each other and sharing about how we work with our CEOs to develop best practice. And also we're sharing what the actual HR programs are. So everybody's learning from everybody else. And I think there's a really close network that's been... Together we can raise the standard of HR in the boardroom. And that's what it's about.
HR in the boardroom has been an amazing experience. This is my second year. I'm now on the alumni. It's been some of the best development I've personally experienced. And I'd say there were 3 reasons for that. One is, as HR directors, we often look at everybody else's development rather than our own. Second, we've been able to network with some of the best HRDs in the country, and what that has enabled is to learn from other people's experience, talk in a confidential setting about some of the challenges that people might be experiencing and some of the solutions that people might be considering. And thirdly, it's created a network through both emails, meeting outside of the HR in the boardroom meetings, where people have been able to share that knowledge and share their expertise for the better of the whole profession.
The HR in the boardroom programme has been really valuable, most of all for the opportunity to share common issues that we're facing as a business and get insights from different HR directors, and also getting an awareness that actually what you're going through, there are common problems across most organisations, and that you're not alone in the things that you're facing, has been really, really valuable. The opportunity to get coaching on some of those things, the opportunity to give your own experiences and help others in that context as well, and get kind of validation for some of the great stuff that you're doing and be able to share some of that and get good feedback on that is really, really helpful. And the external content provided by the external guest speakers was always very useful as well. So it was a nice balance of both, so external content and expertise, and then allowing us to have that time that was really valuable to share problems, get group coaching and share best practice.
So HR in the boardroom's been really interesting for me and hugely valuable. I've met a really interesting group of people who are experiencing similar issues, who come from varying organisations and different sectors, and HR in the boardroom has really brought us all together, and we've been able to share some of our experiences, and that's been enormously valuable for me.
Well, I think HR directors should invest in their own development, because if you think of the volume of their time is spent quite selflessly in a way, developing and looking after the needs and future needs of others. I think it's easy for them to neglect their own development and future. In truth, as we know, in nearly every organisation and anywhere in the world, the person who probably cares more about your own growth and development is you, more than anyone. So I think for HR directors to invest some time in thinking about their growth is key. To have the space to do that is very difficult because of the modern constraints and pressures on people's diaries. So I think the act of how we go through the HR in the boardroom programme by scheduling sort of a few key events during the year, so that you know way in advance, I've got the sanctity of taking out half a day or a day to sit with some brilliant industry peers and discuss what's important to me, is often, as we have described through the programme, a welcome chance to think about my own development and future. And I think the think word is key. We don't have much time in modern organisations to think because we're just so fundamentally busy. I think one of the testimonials we've heard from a lot of people who've been through the programme is this gives a chance and a space for them to just stop for a few hours and think about what's happening, which is really key.